One. We are live. What is going on, everyone? Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Anyone that's coming in at this time, thank you so much for being here. Anybody that's coming in or watching the replay after, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, all of that stuff. Let's dive right into it, man. So, Lakers. It was
Ugh.
rough. Uh,
Ugh.
it was a tough loss. There were some positives, there were some negatives, and we'll dive into all of those things.
Yeah.
Um, you know, uh, Look, it wasn't a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination.
Nope.
Wasn't really what you want to see from the Lakers. You wanted to see some solid, you know, hey, let's go get a W type game, or
Exactly.
at least
Yeah.
be semi competitive. Third quarter seemed to still plague us.
Yeah.
But before we dive into like the positives and negatives and all that stuff, what are your general thoughts? I know you had a lot you wanted to get off your chest, so vent to me. Let's hear it.
So okay, let me. All in all, I'll give my overall my opinion on it. And overall, all in all, I don't think it was a terrible game. And here's
Okay.
why: because for the majority of the game, we made a lot of mistakes, but for the majority of the game, we were competitive. We kept it within like 10-ish, 10, 15-ish until they pulled away and it ended up just being kind of like a blowout. I mean, at the end, we closed the gap, but we do that with every team that blows us out because they stop playing really that hard at the end.
Yep.
Um, for the Warriors to not play their best basketball is that's the part that I found the most concerning because the Warriors are making a lot of mistakes as well. And again, this is game one, so we can't get too like we talked about, we can't get too like crazy like riled up at it. Um, but I am a little upset. A couple things. I'm a little upset that Russ was starting. Because I did want Darvin Ham to kind of stick to what he said that he was not going to start Russ and put Russ with like the bench unit and just have him run that way. So that was kind of a little weird to me. And not only that, he played like 35 minutes, I think. But and the biggest thing that stood out to me was the turnovers as well. Like LeBron had five, Russ had four, but combined the three, I believe they had about 75 points, I believe, roughly around 75 between the three of them. So I don't think it was a horrible game, but I am very, very concerned about the guys that aren't LeBron, AD, Russ. I'm concerned about minus maybe like Nunn and Reeves, but everybody else I'm a little concerned about. I'm not mad at like Patrick Beverly like chucking up threes like he was doing because Beverly is arguably the best 3-point shooter they have on the team. I mean, statistically wise, in the last 2 years. So, I'm not horribly mad at the game, but I just. Ugh, it was very troubling. It was like a mixture in my head of like I love this and I hate this at the same time because while we made it interesting, we could have capitalized on so many mistakes, like so many mistakes. Steph didn't have he had a great game, but like compared
It
to Steph,
wasn't
that's
until like
not
the back half. We should have been
well,
up
yeah,
20 at halftime.
yeah.
We should have. I mean, if we were
To say
half,
the least.
yeah, if we were half decent, we would have been. I mean,
And
look,
Draymond played, and I didn't think Draymond was playing, but Draymond
yeah,
actually played.
I mean, everyone played for them. And look, I mean, defensively, we started off great. We looked really good. We were making things difficult. I mean, the Warriors. Don't get me wrong. The Warriors were just missing shots as well. But you got to credit the defense. Defense was switching. Defense was getting hands up. They were doing a solid job. And then you kind of saw it kind of trickle down.
Yeah,
Um, and then in the fourth quarter, we kind of picked it back up. If we played like we did in the fourth the entire game, we probably would have won the game.
yeah.
If guys made a quarter of the shots that we missed, we probably would have won the game. Now, as a whole, we looked really bad. Russ, credit Russ. Russ looked really good. He had four turnovers, but in general, he looked really good. He had a couple mishap that where he got the rebound, could have just went right back up and attacked the defense, but instead he brought it out and then shot the air ball three. That was kind of like that's old school Russ. And then him stepping on the line out of bounds. Outside of that, it was good. He was in control. He played well. If we could get that Russ the entire season, I think we'll be okay. I don't think we're as bad as we were last night, but I don't necessarily think we are I don't think we're going to be like elite or great from shooting, but I don't
Yeah.
think we're going to be, whatever, we were 19% or whatever it was from three. I mean, you'd be talking one of the worst 3-point percentages in league history. So I don't think we'll be that bad. I think we'll probably around, maybe I'd say 32 if we're really lucky, maybe 34%,
Okay.
somewhere in that
From
range.
three?
Yeah, from three.
Okay.
And the thing is, we looked good interior. I don't know why we got away from that and why we shot 43s. We were like 10 of 40 from three. It's insane. For a team that's not good at 3-point shooting, we should not be taking 43s. Obviously, if you're knocking those down, it's going to open the floor more. It's going to allow, Russ, LeBron, and AD to operate better. So I do imagine that guys are going to make some shots. I mean, we had a lot of like wide open looks that we just missed. And I imagine we will knock down some of those. But in general, we need to have a better overall just structure with the guys. That'll come as the season progresses, right? I mean, this team's only been together like 2 weeks. So we got to, we got to build that chemistry. We got to build that trust, that understanding. There were a couple times throughout where it just looked like, okay, this is a team that doesn't really have each other figured out. But there were some good takeaways. LeBron, though, he really needs to stop. This is 2 years now. We've seen him just hold the ball, watch as the shot clock winds down, and then shoot a deep three. And when he's knocking them down, sure. But he wasn't. Like, he was like 0-6, 0-7 or something like that at one point. And then, he knocked down like 2 straight threes when it was like irrelevant. We were down like 30. And
I was
so
going to ask you, how do you feel about his 10 threes? He shot 3 of 10 from the field.
There should never be a game. Even if he went 9 for 10 from three, there shouldn't be games where he shoots 10 threes. Like,
I thought it was a little weird to me.
Yeah.
Do you think it's age or no?
I think it was just like, hey, we're getting
I'm
killed.
playing the Warriors.
I think it's like, hey, we're getting killed. Like, why not? Maybe I could get hot. And if I hit 3 or 4 of these, maybe we could get back into the game. But in general, like, he did that a lot last year too. And it didn't work last year either. A lot of people look at the box score and say, well, LeBron had 31. He had 31, 14, and 8, which, don't get me wrong, solid stats. But there's a good 30 and then there's a bad 30.
Absolutely.
To me,
we're used to Russ putting up the bad 30s.
Yeah, exactly. Like, like LeBron scores 30 on like 15 shots, not 25 shots. Like, that's LeBron we're used to. LeBron, look, I love LeBron. I've said repeatedly, I think he is overall the greatest player to ever play the game, but he's not without criticism. And
no, absolutely.
If we're gonna jump on Russ for things that he does bad, we got to jump on LeBron the same. And LeBron's not controlling games like he used to. And he settles a lot more than he ever did. And I don't know if maybe that's the age, where he just doesn't have it in him to put his head down. I'm not saying he shouldn't shoot any threes and just attack the basket every time. No, it's not what I'm saying. I mean, obviously you want to be able to shoot some threes. He's improved from three. If he can knock down a couple of those, it spreads the floor, allows him to operate. But him shooting 10 threes a game is not going to help us win. Like, that should not be the case. I mean, he almost missed as many threes as he made baskets. He missed 7 threes and he made 12 shots. So, I mean, again, it's just, that's not the LeBron we're accustomed to. Part of me felt like I said, that one, he just was like, hey, we're getting smacked. Let me try. Like, if I hit a couple of these, I'll make it. And then another part of me is like, and this could just be because it's what's out there, but another part of me was like, hey, we're going to lose this game. Might as well try to get as many points as I can to chase Kareem, right? Because that's what he's trying to do this year.
Yeah.
And so my thing is I want good habits. Even if we get blown out, even if we lose by 30, I still want good habits from the Lakers, including LeBron James. Because the problem is that, like, let's say he went and he hit like 5 straight threes. we still probably would have lost the game. And even if he did, well, now it's implanted in his head of like, I need to do that from the beginning. I need to shoot 10 threes a game. Like, no, you don't. Like, you don't need to be shooting 10 threes a game. Like, if he shoots like 5 a game and he's like 3 for 5 from 3, or 2 from 5 for 3, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But majority of his baskets need to be coming at the rim, need to be coming, in operating the way that we're used to LeBron operating. If he's hot that night, sure, take a couple extra. If you go, you start the game off and you're like 2 for 3 from 3, sure, shoot a couple more. And then if you're like, 5 for 6 from 3, sure, shoot a couple more. But when you go 0 of 6 or whatever it was, and you just keep shooting threes, it's bad. And just the momentum. Like, my biggest problem is like he killed so much momentum on several occasions. Like, he gets the ball and we're going on a run, and then instead of doing the things that got us to that run, he instead decides to jack up a 3. Right? Like, it's just like, why? And I understand if you hit that, now you're like up 1 instead of down 3.
Yeah.
But the problem is that leads to long rebounds, which leads to the Warriors getting out in transition, which leads to easy buckets for the Warriors.
We all know they're the best fast break team in the league. So,
exactly. It's a terrible, terrible spot for them to be in.
And how much of that do you think is actually because he's playing the Warriors? He's like, I don't know if it's like an ego thing, but it's like, hey, let me come in here and try to outshoot like Steph.
I don't think it's that. I think it's just, I think part of it is age. I just think I think he's looking at it as like, I can't just put my head down and get to the basket 29 times a game. You know what I mean? Like, I can't just, I can't be old LeBron because I'm going to get worn down. So how do I keep myself fresh? I take some jumpers. I take some outside threes. My biggest thing is, even beyond the threes, is just I don't understand. He doesn't shoot the threes within the scope of the offense. He gets the ball, he holds the ball for like 15 seconds, and then does a little step back, boom, shoots the 3, and it disrupts the flow. A great example was the one game we won in preseason. We at one point we had 24 assists on 27 made baskets. That's how we're going to win games. We're going to win games by moving the ball, sharing the ball, having 3 stars that can attack the paint, get into the interior, which causes the defense to collapse. Don't get me wrong, guys need to make shots. They absolutely need to make shots. Like, we didn't lose because of LeBron James. That's not what I'm saying. But there were times early on in the game where he really could have put us in a better position than he did. And even Anthony Davis, Anthony Davis started off as that like MVP level Anthony Davis. He had like a minute stretch where he was like unbelievable. He was everywhere, and it was just like, this is the guy. I don't know. And it is very deflating when guys aren't making shots. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it was just guys weren't knocking down the shot. So it kind of sucks the air out of you, because you saw the Lakers and even Anthony Davis kind of trickle down. I mean, he had 27 points, again, LeBron had 31, but they didn't have, it wasn't a dominant 31. It wasn't a dominant 27. It wasn't what we're accustomed to from what LeBron James and Anthony Davis can do. Anthony Davis having 6 rebounds against the Warriors isn't going to cut it. Like, all of our rebounding came from LeBron and Russ. LeBron had 14 rebounds and Russ had 11. If they're the two guys, like, look, it's great. Like, if they're getting rebounds like that, that's great. But if they're leading our team in rebounds every night, that's
that's AD's role. That's like, as far as AD's job description, that's literally probably like the first or second thing. Especially as playing the 5. Well, that's what I'm saying. As playing the 5, you need to be able to A, defend, B, get rebounds, and C, get points at the rim. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Set screens.
Yeah. Real quick, let's say hi to some people in the chat. What's going on, Mr.
While you
81?
do that, I'm just going to plug in my charger really quick.
Yeah, no problem. Lakers look terrible, and I got notification from Bleacher Report that Miles Turner ain't playing because his ankle. Should the Lakers Miles Turner? No, and I'm gonna make a video about that after this stream. I was actually gonna try to get it up before the stream, but I didn't want to risk being late, so I'll have that video up after the stream because that is a very significant thing. And the way he got hurt in shoot around, stepping on a ball boy's ankle. That's not very good. What's going on, SM? Appreciate you. Salute. Appreciate you. Dudes who watched last night game and think Hield and Turner are solving the Lakers' problems are insane. That's my point exactly. Like Buddy Hield and Miles Turner are not going to solve the issues of last night. Miles Turner isn't a great rebounder in and of himself. And I understand, like, because I had a lot of people that were like, it changes the flow of the game. It, having Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, it would have been a different game. And maybe to an extent. So instead of us losing by 20, we lose by 12. Like at the end of the day, people still weren't going to knock down shots. Miles Turner was going to help you knock down shots when everybody else is not scoring. I mean, Russ put up 19 and 11. That's probably nearly as much as Miles Turner and Buddy Hield. No, by the way, answer to your question, Jake. No, but yeah, like Buddy Hield and Miles Turner collectively probably wouldn't even have had something like that. Buddy Hield, maybe they put up more points. Maybe collectively they put up 30. So again, so we still lose by like. Like it's just it wouldn't have saved the day. Buddy Hield ain't saving this team. They need multiple shooters, not just one. I agree, and they need guys who can shoot and play defense. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
I think you made the right decision.
Yeah. That's the other thing that people are not taking into account when we talk, a Buddy Hield and Miles Turner deal. Like, yes, Buddy Hield, you're getting the floor space and you're getting the shooting, but you're losing the defense. If he put up 18, that's great. But even tonight, he put up 16 points, but he was 4 of 11 from 3. So he would have been another guy like last night, not making shots. Miles Turner wouldn't even have played if we had those two. So in hindsight, we probably lose by 30 because we wouldn't have had Russ's 19 and 11. So again, our problem is 3-point shooting and perimeter defense. Miles Turner is not going to help in those categories. Not going to help in those areas. I was disappointed to see Russ starting as well. I think he pounded his way back in the starting lineup with that hamstring nonsense. Did you guys?
I'm very, very curious to know
here's the excuse why you come off the bench. Yeah, I did hear that. I thought that was a silly excuse as well. But Russ was never going to come off the bench. They just experimented with it. That was kind of their out. I don't think he was ever going to come off the bench. I mean, even all the Lakers, like Patrick Beverley, LeBron, everybody, they all said the same thing. They were like, he was never going to come off the bench. It was just something they wanted to try.
Yeah. I think it was a false leak that Darvin Ham, that was his intention, to get Russ to come off the bench and lead that second unit. I think that was like a false leak from like the camp.
I think they'll try it from time to time. Like if the Lakers aren't doing well, like I could see Darvin Ham. Like let's say we start the season 0-5, I could see Russ coming off the bench as a way to try to like just shake things up.
Yeah.
I
feel like it would have made last night's situation better. Maybe not against the Warriors, but in a tough matchup, I feel like it kind of would have made the difference because if you don't get off to a great start, you got Russ coming on with the energy.
It would have helped bench scoring because our bench was terrible. So say you put up 19, but it still would have been the same result because he still would have given the same amount of points. He still would have probably played the same amount of minutes. Our problem wasn't necessarily the big three. I mean, like they did as much as they could. It's just like we need other guys to step up. Like Kendrick Nunn put up 13, but like he had 3 points at the half and didn't have a really good game. He gave us 10 points when like the game was pretty much over and it didn't matter. We need guys. We need him to give us that early. This is a brand new team. Of course, the bench is going to be bad. They need to get a few games so they can learn their roles and how to play. That's kind of what I've been saying too. Is that like we need to get a couple games under our belt before we Chicken Little this season, and are like the sky is falling. Like let's wait. Like what if the Lakers beat the Clippers? Let's say what if they win their next 4 games? Like the conversation is going to be a completely different conversation. I'm not saying that they will, but I'm saying like let's see what this team looks like when we're shooting like respectable, not even great, not even elite. Just like, what does this team look like if we make like, like I said, a quarter of the.
Oh, let us hit like 50% from the three.
Like, something crazy. I don't know. Like, we shot 43s and we made 10. Like, what happens if we would have made like 17? Would this have been a different game? Because there's 21 extra points. Like, would the game have been closer? Westbrook literally had a better plus minus than LeBron. Yes, he did. That's how y'all doing. DeMar looks so good. I agree. I feel bad for saying this, but I hope the Bulls lose. I do too. That might give us a chance to maybe get DeMar. I'm with you, 2K. I really am. I mean, they did. They looked really good tonight. I still think the Heat are gonna not be very good this year. I really don't. I said that on the As It Stands channel, my mother channel, that kind of spawned all these other channels. I said that a while back that I thought Miami was not going to be very good this year, and I mean, they weren't terrible, but I don't think they're going to be very good. Miles Turner already missing games, injury prone. Agreed. Yeah, that's my point.
Lakers, well, everybody called it before the season. Well, you particularly called it before the season. You were like,
the guy
get him and he gets injured, then we're kind of stuck. And Buddy Hield gave away our first 2 picks.
That's my biggest concern. Because if we trade for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, we're stuck. Like because we can't afford to let Miles Turner walk. And he wants $20+ million a year to just walk or he's going to leave. But the problem is we have to pay him that. So we're going to overpay him more than what he wants. If he can't even play the first game of the season because he gets hurt and shoot around. How do you get hurt and shoot around?
Like for real. Like talk about like freak accidents. My goodness.
The Nets look worse than the Lakers. I agree, and I hope that keeps happening. I hope these Nets implode because then that means we might.
They look very disgruntled. They look lost. They look confused.
Well, they got blown out. They got smackarooed. Like they looked garbage. Like they look bad. It's like LeBron is scared of shooting free throws. I agree. It's just. I just think he knows he can't knock him down. I mean, he was actually pretty good from the free throw line last night, but still, Westbrook played better than LeBron and Davis. I agree. I said the same thing, and people were trying to kill me.
He was more efficient. It just, I mean, statistical wise,
I think LeBron knows more about basketball than you do. Stop criticizing him. He's LeBron for a reason. Just because he knows more about basketball than I do doesn't mean that he's making good decisions. Some of the greatest players ever still make terrible decisions. Great GMs, great coaches, great everybody makes good decisions. Maybe you're perfect and you never make a mistake. Maybe you're just the only person on the planet that just, you're just the perfection. You're just the epitome of just perfection. And maybe, you're over there, rubbing one out for LeBron and he just can't take criticism. LeBron had a bad game last night. Just because he had a bad game doesn't mean he's not LeBron James. But to sit there and pretend like we can't criticize LeBron for playing badly is silly. Like, I had the same thing happen in my live stream last night. Like, I was criticized. I had so many people, like, just coming at me over it. And look, I've said on record, I think LeBron James is the greatest overall player ever. I've rubbed one out for LeBron just as much as anybody. But just because he's LeBron James doesn't mean that he's playing good basketball. LeBron's IQ, he might have the greatest IQ ever. Like ever when it comes to a basketball player. But that doesn't mean that every single game he's making the best IQ plays. Last year, he wasn't making the best IQ plays. Last night, he did not make the best IQ plays. And to call those out is not like Rich said. Yes, LeBron does, but he made stupid plays last night. Just stop. Exactly.
You could even take Michael Jordan, Magic, all the
Michael Jordan had, low IQ games. Like everybody does. Name me a player. Westbrook turnovers are so dumb. That's the problem. He didn't even lead the team in turnovers last night.
LeBron did, actually. I think 5. Yeah.
I really don't comment and just watch. But why have you become the biggest LeBron hater? It was just one game. Relax, man. Every time Westbrook will have a bad game, see you slander him like this.
No.
We only have
Easy money. No. See, no. I gotta defend this because he. Yeah, I was about to say no. Tyler is a LeBron fan, and he's been on record saying that LeBron
had arguments on this stream where I'm defending LeBron.
Exactly, and he will defend LeBron till his last breath. He is a LeBron fan, let me tell you. So no, it's not that he's hating on LeBron, but like we just discussed, LeBron had a weird game last night. And that's all it comes
having a
down
bad
to.
game,
Like,
having a bad game does not mean I hate LeBron or that I'm hating on LeBron. People have this like idea in their head that LeBron is untouchable, that LeBron cannot he cannot have a bad game because it's LeBron James. Like it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like it's so
no,
ridiculous. Like
no,
it's
and
so
I
ridiculous.
trust me, I
Like Jordan isn't without criticism. Kobe wasn't without criticism. There's never a player that's without criticism.
no,
If they have a bad
ever.
game, they deserve it. If Russ had a bad game yesterday, I would be talking shit about Russ too. But he did it. He had a good game. But I've even pointed out, even on this stream, I pointed out that he made a stupid decision by taking that air ball 3. He shouldn't have stepped on the line. That whole little where he slapped the ball and got the technical, like that was just ridiculous and nonsense. Like that was stupid. Like don't be doing that, especially early on when we're like in the game, giving away free points. He made dumb decisions, but overall, he had a great game. LeBron did not. LeBron had great stats, but he did not have a good game. There's a big difference. And there's nothing wrong with calling out having a poor game. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, like LeBron.
And not to mention that he's so great that we're even saying his 30+ point a game, it was a bad game. You know what I mean? So it's like.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, look, it's silly to think we can't call or point out LeBron having a negative thing. You know, again, facts over feelings. I say all the time. I don't care how somebody feels. You know, if they're, don't talk about LeBron, like it sucks. Okay, that sucks. But guess what? Facts over feelings. Like I will never apologize or feel bad for pointing out the reality. And the reality is he looked terrible. He did. He looked terrible. He wasn't LeBron James last night. LeBron had a bad game last night. Nobody hating, but decisions like he made last night will garner criticism. Even the all-time great players have off games. Thank you. Exactly. He had a bad game. You know, it's not a big deal. When he had that first game in the preseason where he was trash, I was sitting here arguing with people about how, like, look, it's a preseason. Don't worry about it. Like, I stick up for LeBron more than as much as anybody.
Yes.
But
Yes,
if
he
LeBron
does.
has a bad game in the regular season when it counts and when it matters, I am absolutely going to criticize LeBron. I just don't understand how the whole world can criticize Russell Westbrook, but LeBron gets a pass for everything. Like everything. It makes no sense to me. We have to be fair. If we're going to judge and we're going to critique people, especially somebody like us, Jake, because we have a platform and we have a responsibility. You know, if fans want to go around and tell their buddies, you know, LeBron is the greatest and, you know, he can do no wrong, that's fine. But I feel as a platform, and as a creator, I have a responsibility to relay the truth and relay the information. Am I wrong sometimes? Absolutely. Do I make bad calls? Do I make mistakes? Absolutely. But I try my hardest to be as fair and overall as possible.
Like you said, we have to be.
We have to be.
We have to be. Star, no star, favorite player, no favorite player. Like
doesn't matter.
You know what I mean?
I even had a comment one time that somebody was like, if you just talk poorly about Russell Westbrook, you'd have more subscribers. And I was like, see, this is the problem. I don't care. I'm not going to like, there's enough content creators on the internet, not even in the sports space. There's plenty in the sports space, but in general, there are so many content creators that will say whatever their audience wants because they want more subscribers and they want people to like them. I could give two shits. Like if you want a channel where you have the truth, where you have, you know, good analysis, you know, whether I'm right or wrong, whether we disagree or we agree, whatever it is, then you're in the right place between here and, you know, as it stands Lakers and stuff like that. Again, does my fandom sometimes get in the way? Sure. I'm still a fan, but I try my best because I feel like we have a responsibility to say the proper thing, you know, like that's the difference. But anyway, moving on. They're not beating the Clippers. Stop saying what ifs. Hey, never say never. Never say
Mr.
never.
Gregory, if we come out there and beat the Clippers,
remember
I want you to be right back on our stream.
Yeah, saying I was wrong. My apologies. Yeah, I agree. Heat losing PJ Tucker I agree with that. Even though some people maybe think PJ Tucker added a level of toughness to that team that really goes unmeasured. LeBron had 5 turnovers, but dude only liked to bring up Russ turnovers. Exactly. That's my point. You gotta continue both of them. Are you watching the Mavs Suns game? I am currently not because I'm on this live stream. I did want to put that on at some point. Hopefully the Suns are getting blown out. because I really think the Suns aren't going to be very good. I do have the scores up
No,
here. They're down 8. Or here, let me refresh it. And they are down. Yeah, they're down 8. I guess it did refresh. I was wrong. But anyway, back to where I was at. Nets lose by 20. Media ain't gonna mention it. How they do, like, of course they will. Of course they will, because it's the
no,
Lakers.
yeah.
It's good talk to talk negatively about the Lakers. I hope the Nets
It's
lose by 20
because
every
LeBron's on the team, and yeah,
exactly. I hope the Nets lose by 20 every game, because that just increases our chances of going and getting Kyrie Irving.
right.
I think it's time to say you're deeply in love with Westbrook. Am I wrong? I am not deeply in love with Westbrook, but when a guy makes changes and a guy is working to better himself, I, as a man, feel like I should give him that opportunity. Think of it like this. If you were trying to start a business or something, right? And
Yeah.
everybody around you was like, why are you doing that? You work at McDonald's. Why would you change? You've worked at McDonald's for 20 years. Why, like, what? Now all of a sudden you're a businessman? Like, how would you feel? Wouldn't you be like, give me a chance to prove myself? If Russ
Exactly.
has a terrible season, so be it. But I've never said he's not. I just said, let's wait and see what happens with Russ before we just crucify him. Like, let Russ prove us right or wrong. Everybody just wants to assume they know Russ. Well, guess what? So far, he's 1-0 against the haters. Okay? Like, not saying he's going to play that meaningful game, but so far, he's made you guys look silly. Okay?
No,
And
that's
he's
true.
made me look good. So right now, I will take my win where I can. My point is I don't care about that. I care about his consistency and can he change. Last night, he was fighting over screens. He was playing defense. He had a great defensive rating. Go look at his defensive rating. He had a really solid defensive rating. He was one of our better defenders. Like all of that. Like the dude is trying. Give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, what if you cheated on a spouse and your spouse chose to forgive you, but every time you were trying to better yourself, they just threw it in your face? Well, you're a cheater.
Yeah.
It's like, at some point, are you going to let me prove that I'm trying
right.
to change? That
I've
trying
changed.
to be better?
I'm different.
Well,
Last year is
there's
not
tons of
this
players.
year.
There's exactly, but there's also tons of players that have made. Look at Carmelo. Carmelo became a completely different player, except their bench role. Lots of guys have changed over their career and played the same way for 20 plus years. But for some reason, people can't grasp the idea of Russ Westbrook doing it. I'm not saying he will. I just
It's
don't
sports,
know.
though. I'm telling you, more so basketball, but it's just sports in general. Like if they're a player, they're the same player for the rest of their career in people's minds. But like even take like Steph for example. Steph, what was his reputation? He can't perform in the finals. He's
Great
not
example.
like,
Great
exactly,
example.
like,
Great
literally
example.
like everybody was like Steph is horrible. He's not clutch.
People forget before the dynasty years,
Yeah.
Russ or Steph was a bust who couldn't stay healthy, who couldn't close games,
Yes.
who couldn't like it blows me away. That is a
Yeah.
great example.
Not to mention the 2016, the 2016 championship, like with the Cavs. Like not to mention, everybody was like,
he needs to have a big playoff game.
Exactly.
All this stuff.
But then you look at last year, like, I'm sorry, what? You can never say that again, that Steph can't close out a final series.
People completely forget that Steph Curry was labeled a bust that could not stay healthy and completely turned it around. And look, maybe he just had the intangibles. Maybe he just had the things. But again, let's wait and see. Why? I don't understand why people have to assume. I like to know and let things unfold. Maybe I'm just a patient person. Maybe that's just who I am. Because I am. I'm a very patient person. I mean, you know me well enough to know I'm patient. But maybe that's just what it is. Maybe it's just the patience that I have.
Yeah.
But so many people are just willing to just write it off and just like, can we wait and see? Like so many people just are willing to say that, it's time to blow it up, trade LeBron, trade AD, do this, do that. And it's like, can we play 20 games first and see where we're at? Like, what if we're 19-1? You know what I mean? Like everybody's going to look silly. Like I don't think that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But let's wait and see what happens. Like great example, Miami. Like when LeBron went to Miami like that, they were like 7-9. And everyone was like, see, it's not going to work, this, that, and the other. And obviously that's a different situation. And they did make the finals, but it took them time to figure it out. It took them, it took them like 30 games to build chemistry. I mean, at the All-Star break, I think they were like only a game or two over 500. And then it went on like a 20-game win streak. Let's let things unfold. Let's let things kind of work itself out before we just, crucify people. That's my only thing.
Yeah.
I've said it many times, but LeBron fans act like he's a god, and that's not healthy. I agree. They do. Braun bad game is better than Russ' best game. More points, rebounds, turnovers, only 49%. Only bad thing was turnovers. Russ also had 4. I mean, LeBron's just an overall better player. I mean, his bad games should be good games, but there's nothing wrong with saying he had a bad game, is my point.
Yeah.
You were only allowed to blame Russ and Pelinka for Lakers' failures. Facts.
Hold on. That sentence right there is literally like you take the whole Lakers like fan base, or at least like 70% of them, and you put that label over their head, and that's exactly what the majority of Lakers fans think.
Became the scapegoat.
Yeah,
he did.
Exactly.
He became the scapegoat. He became the liability. Like
nobody wants to blame AD. I mean, AD gets it too, but like
like last year, for example, like. People act like if we didn't have Russell Westbrook, we would have won the championship. Like, no, we were terrible. Like it wasn't Russ. I mean, he had what many consider the worst year of his career, and he still put up 18-7-7. Like there's stars in this league right now that can't put up 18-7-7 that can average 18-7-7 on a regular basis.
Exactly.
That's the thing. They need to bench Westbrook. Not playing with LeBron because he drives. Defense collapse, kicks it to Westbrook, who is wide open because he can't shoot. Then he breaks. I mean, he was 1 of 3. I mean, he took good shots last night.
I don't know if you've been watching the preseason, but in the preseason, he's shown that his shooting has improved a little bit. Like everything's changed about Russ when it comes to his jump shot. Like his form, if you look at his form from last year to this year, it looks like a completely different jump shot. Like he's changed, and it's got it looks like it's got better. But like you said, facts over feelings. Like we don't have any statistical like numbers. We don't have real numbers to go off of. We have one game. Game. But we don't have a nice, like a big enough sample size to say like Russ still can't shoot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's my thing. Like let's wait and see before we just say we know how this is gonna go. I wonder if the Lakers can play Winning Gabriel at 3. He's pretty quick on his feet and can defend. Plus he shoots 34% for 3. Russ, none. Winning. LeBron 80. What do you think? I mean, I wouldn't mind if they experiment with it. My problem is Winning Gabriel, he overextends sometimes. And it's easier to manage when he's playing the 4 or the 5. If he's playing the 3, that's an easy bucket. And that would be my only concern Winning Gabriel. He has the athleticism, the quickness, and the size to do it. I just don't know if he has the discipline to play the 3. And that would be
his defense going to be used? If his defense like skills going to be used the best at the 3? I feel like they would rather be used the best at the 4 or the 5. Because not only can he defend, but he can rebound too. You know what I mean?
It is. You're overvaluing Westbrook last game. Until his numbers matter, who cares? I'd rather have spacers who score and rebound less, but has a greater impact on the team than Westbrook, whose numbers are hollow. His numbers weren't hollow last night. Dude, he had we were down in that he had the 2 early runs that literally brought us back in the game. That one when we were down 13, he went on like a 7-0 run or whatever, got like an and 1, hit a 3, and then even got a layup, or so that was an 8-0 run. Like, he had that cut the lead to 5. And then I believe at that point because that was right before halftime and they got into, they ended up pushing it to 7. But did that earlier when we were down 7. He had that great just attack, drive, and 1 that cut it to 4. And then we went on that little run. And then that's when we took the lead. Like Russ's stats weren't hollow last night. I see what you're saying, but my point is, it was one game, bro. Not all 82 games will be perfect for Bron. I haven't seen him play the other 81 games. I've only seen him play this one game. I can't judge him on the future games. I can only judge him on the game that he had just now. Like if next game, if he's great, I'll say he was great. But here's the thing.
Well, at the same time, you're not saying he's a horrible player. You're just saying he had a bad game.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's trash. I'm just saying he had a bad game. He did a lot of things that were bad last night. I'm not saying like, oh, that's it. He's washed up. It's time for him to go. Like, I'm not over exaggerating or overreacting by saying LeBron James had a bad game last night. Like, will maybe next game he puts up 32 on 15 shots and has a dominant performance, and I'll praise LeBron and I'll be like, man, LeBron really killed it tonight. Like, I just don't see what is wrong. Like, you guys would all expect me to criticize Russell Westbrook if he had a bad game. You would expect me to criticize Anthony Davis if he had a bad game. You'd expect me to criticize anybody else, but I can't criticize LeBron for having a bad game. It's just make it make sense. Like, because it doesn't make sense.
But it's LeBron. It's never gonna make sense. Ever.
It's my thing. Like, but here's the thing. it's not like this is habits. What we saw yesterday were habits that we have an entire season of sample size for. He did that the entire season last season, holding the ball, jacking up threes, letting the shot clock run down, and then doing his little dribble step back. Like we have an entire
The
season of
same
sample
move
size.
every
Yeah,
single
every
time. He
single
does not
time.
switch. He does not
Literally
switch it up.
every single
It's a
time.
little like jab and like a
You
quick
know when
little.
he's gonna shoot. You know when he's gonna shoot.
Exactly. He telegraphs it so much.
It's like it's big as tell.
Which
Like
makes me
when he's
wonder
about.
is who is LeBron's shooting coach? Because I wonder, like, I feel like I don't know.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I
I mean, look, he has a good shot. He's improved his shot a lot.
no, it
He just
falls. It
shouldn't
does.
be taking 10 threes a game. Is my problem.
Not 10 because he's not. Okay, here's the thing. If Steph takes 10, who cares whether he misses or makes? It doesn't matter because he's Steph Curry. Like he has the stats to prove like he can knock down 10 of those if he really really wanted to. But LeBron's not that player. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I do love
That's
the
the
fact that
thing.
you're always honest. Well, thank you, 2K. Thank you. I know some people appreciate it. I know some people appreciate it, and I'm glad you do. Thank you. Suns are facing their owner Luca. I know facts. He's got real estate in
Wait,
the
what?
because
he does?
Luca owned the Sun. No, not like literally. I mean
Oh.
figuratively because he just smacked the Suns last time they played. What's
Uh,
going on, Austin? I appreciate you. Not Westbrook's fault, but he's just not a good fit. I agree. He's not the best fit. We are asking him to give us what he can't do, but he did last night. He's just got to take the blame because 47 million could go to a player who actually helps. He will never fit. Sorry, but it's not about his
how did he
salary.
not help last night? But I don't
But that's what I'm
understand.
saying. But that's my point. Like, yeah, he's a bad fit, but he wasn't a bad fit last night. He was fine last night. Like he wasn't it wasn't our spacing last night that caused us to miss threes. We had a lot of wide open threes. Guys just weren't hitting shots. Like that's the difference. Like if like I could understand if they just packed packed the paint and like because Russ but that's not what happened. Like we were looking good in the beginning. We were able to get into the interior and do stuff because guys were, the Warriors had to prepare for guys to knock down shots. As soon as they stopped knocking down shots, the Warriors were like, okay, well, let's play zone. We saw him play zone a couple times, stuff like that. Like it's just, no matter how Westbrook performs statistically, he's still.
That is a fact. That is a fact. You never see Russ taking plays off, being lazy. You don't. That's not Russ. That's not who he is. And that's why I think he provides.
I'll always respect that about him. Say what you want about him. At least he's a guy that'll play every single game. He's a guy that doesn't like to load manage. I mean, they tried to sit him and he threw a tantrum. Like, how many players do that? Usually when players get load managed, they're happy, they're thankful, they're begging for it. Like, whatever you want to say about Russ, at least he's a guy that you can count on and show up and will try and give 110%. Sometimes that's not okay. Sometimes you don't want that. But honestly, after what we saw last night, I honestly think they should let Russ be Russ a little more. Because
with the starters with the bench though, how do you like
either or? We need to run. Matter. We need to run because like a great example was
A great
example was the fourth quarter. Get back. As soon as we got into transition, as soon as we were speeding up, like Steve Kerr was getting pissed. He called like 3 timeouts in like a minute span because they just kept doing it. They get the rebound and boom, they were down the court. Like off of a made 3. They were getting a layup. Like that's the kind of offense we need to run. And the best one suited for that is Russ. Like I think my biggest concern though with that is Russ being able to turn it on and off because that's a real concern. Because I'm okay with Darvin Ham taking the leash off sometimes, but can Russ play within the flow of the offense for when he needs to? Can he pick and choose? Because he can't always just go. And I liked last night that we saw him a couple times where he got the rebound, he sped up the court, and he had 3 guys in front of him. Usually Russ just ducks in and tries to, bully his way to the basket. Instead, he brought it out. He slowed it down. He let the offense catch up. I really like that. And I hope, and if he can do that, if he can learn and understand, okay, it's time for me to go. It's time for me to slow it down and pick and choose those spots. I think Darvin Ham should take the leash off him or give him like 10 minutes a game to just go be crazy. Russ, you got 10 minutes. I need you to just do what you want to do. Go be Russell Westbrook. Run. Just run, Forrest. Run.
and And I feel like LeBron could like literally provide like the best insight when it comes to that because he's like it's LeBron, so like he has the vision, he knows like how to make the right pass, like the right play, except for like last night. But so I think he can provide like that good vision for Russ, and I don't know if that's been what's been rubbing off, but yeah.
Russell Westbrook's head looks like a brick. Nets were destroyed by the Pelicans in Brooklyn. Brooklyn has one of the best rosters in the NBA. Therefore, there's hope for all teams. Agreed. I need them to keep getting blown out. After that game last night, I am not worried about the big three. I'm more worried about the bench's production. Agreed. That's where we need upgrades along with the efficient wing players. Agreed. Look, come.
I don't even think upgrades. I just think we need to practice in rotation more, and I think it's just going to take time.
It's going to take. No, I agree with you. It's going to take a little time. We need. Hopefully, it was just an anomaly. Like I said, I don't think that we're going to be elite from three or any of that, but hopefully it was just an anomaly. And we won't play that bad regularly. But come December, like 90% of our roster can be traded. So I think the Lakers would be best to just wait, because then at that point we'd have a good enough sample size. And we even got a report today that the Lakers aren't going to start exploring trades till after Thanksgiving. So I think Rob Pelinka is thinking that too. I think Rob Pelinka is looking at it as like, hey, I'll have more options in December amongst teams in general because of the whole Victor Wembanyama thing, but also I'll have more guys that can be traded. Like even Patrick Beverley. Like Patrick Beverley's a reasonable contract, $12 million. The 125% rule, that means you could get a guy that's like what, $16 million. So right there, you might be able to get a solid rotation wing. Guys like.
So you're saying wait it out, see who's worth keeping, and get rid of who we don't.
Because there's no trade right now that's going to save the day. Like again, Miles Turner got hurt.
Not that's out there. I mean, we can make up a trade, but then not that's out there right now. That's gonna
nothing that's going to save us. Who says Russ won? Almost bug, not quite. He blew it in his interview. That was a stupid thing to say, but I care about his play. I don't care about what he says. Making it known he doesn't like coming off the bench. If he doesn't get injured again, it sounds like what an ego. I don't care about that. I care about how what's his performance on the court. Russ could say he's an alien from the planet Mars. I don't care. Russ could say whatever he wants. What does he look like on the court? That's all I care about. Steph might struggle in the finals, but he's still the greatest point guard ever. If he's not one, he's two. But personally, I think he's the best. Look, Steph is. I don't think he's the best point guard ever.
Yeah, I wouldn't say best, or maybe even top. I maybe put him in the top 5. But like when it comes to point guards, not particularly what a point guard is supposed to do. I wouldn't say
he's more a shooting guard than a point guard.
Yeah, exactly. He's the best shooter that's ever stepped foot on the basketball court. I will give you that. But to say he's the best point guard ever, I mean, I would put. There's a few that I would put above him.
No, I mean, I understand it. A lot of people put Steph because I mean his position is point guard. I mean,
I know, but I know he played, but it's just yeah.
Personally, I don't think he is either, but I understand why people look at it that way. But still, like, I am high on Steph. I think Steph is.
Because traditionally the point guard is supposed to be the captain of it.
He did struggle in the finals for multiple years, but the point is that like, Russ or Steph completely reinvented his game, changed everything, was able to pull himself out of the trenches when everyone thought he was a bust. The Warriors almost traded him twice. They almost traded him to the Bucks, and they traded him to the Timberwolves, I think it was. Oh, no. That was Kevin. That was Klay Thompson.
The Bucks would have been the Bucks would have been scary.
Yeah, they almost traded Steph to the Bucks, and then there was another team that
could you imagine having him and Giannis?
Oh man, that would have been amazing. But I mean, back then it was understandable because nobody thought Steph was going to be Steph. Like again, like that was at a time where people labeled him as a bust that can't stay healthy. He had all those ankle issues, things like that. Like it was just a different time.
You think Steph becomes Steph without Golden State?
Probably. Would he have evolved into like the elite guy that people know him? I think it depends on what team he ended up in. Yeah. Not just that, but like because Golden State was patient. Jerry West was really like, there's something with this guy. Like,
remember they had to decide either him or Monte Ellis.
Yeah. Well, no, they wanted to trade him and keep Monte Ellis. They did.
Yeah, no, I mean they thought they were taking a gamble on actually keeping Steph versus shipping. Exactly, because Monte Ellis actually had a track record. Monte Ellis actually had numbers to prove it. And he was a solid guy for them. Like, of
Yeah,
course, he wasn't he wasn't like Derrick Rose or something like that, but he
yeah,
was good. He was
yeah.
solid. He put up
Agreed.
numbers.
Agreed. Magic is the greatest point guard ever. I agree. Uh, Pick up Melo. Melo again. Melo doesn't solve the issue, and we have no roster spots right now. Magic won Finals MVP as a rookie. Yeah, he was incredible, and he. I mean, he came in and had a what was it, a 40 and 15 game or whatever. Jamal Murray is back. I'm hyped. Yeah, he looked great. I don't know if he played preseason, but he's one of my favorite players right now. The Atlanta Hawks have me curious. They have me curious to say the least. Um, it's not only the shots Westbrook misses, he doesn't take shots that he should. When he gets the swing pass in the shooter spot, he pauses and drives that ruins the flow of offense. I get it, but here's the problem. Hey, because you are right, he does do that. You're spot on, Cox. But the problem is that if he did take that shot, everybody would be talking about how he shouldn't take that shot. Like he's going off of what's his strengths and what his weaknesses. I do agree it does mess up the flow on that swing pass, and he should shoot the ball. I wouldn't care if he shot it 100 times, but a majority of people would lose their minds if he did that. I'm one of the people is I don't care how bad of a shooter you are. If you're wide open and nobody's closing out on you, shoot the ball. Shoot it. Like
Yeah, because then you end up like Ben Simmons,
exactly.
which again we don't know how he's gonna perform this year. I think you missed one. SM.
Oh no, that wasn't to us. That was to Cox.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm just trying. We got so many in the chat. I'm trying to just get the
My
ones
bad.
to
My
us.
bad.
No, you're good. We should get Stanley Johnson back. We can't. So back in what was it 2008, something like that. Egalskis was the reason the rules changed. So Cavs traded him. He was bought out. Cavs re-signing him immediately. They changed the rule. You have to wait a full year before you can bring back a player if you were the most recent team that traded him. So, for example, the Lakers traded Stanley Johnson to Utah. Utah waived Stanley Johnson. The Lakers can't sign him. But let's say the Lakers traded him to Utah. Utah traded him to the Spurs, and then the Spurs waived Stanley Johnson. Then the Lakers could re-sign him. You just can't be the most recent team to have trade him and then sign a guy that gets waived after being traded. So yeah, we can't, even if we wanted to, even if Stanley Johnson wanted to come back, we wouldn't be able to. Do you think that the Lakers can make it to the playoffs? I do. I think they'll make the playoffs. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Look,
No, it makes
especially
sense.
they'll at least be a play-in team. There's
Yeah.
especially as we get later in the season, the Lakers are going to get a lot of free wins because teams are going to be tanking. So yeah, I mean, absolute worst case scenario, like even if the Lakers are just dog shit, like they'll still probably end up being like somewhere in the 7 to 9 range.
I give it playoffs. Mid playoffs.
Yeah, I think the worst case scenario, I think they're at least in the playoffs. There's a lot of hatred for LeBron still in our fan base. That's why you see some of his supporters go overboard in his defense. In my honest opinion, I mean, absolutely. There's always the LeBron guys, but there's a difference. There's a difference between hating and fair criticism. Like me giving fair criticism is not hating. Like people need to be able to distinguish the two. People need to be able to understand that there's a difference between me just blatantly hating on LeBron. As somebody stated earlier, oh, you're just hating on LeBron. No, it's not. It's fair criticism. What he did is accurate. Tell me he did. Prove to me he did it, because I can prove to you he did. Again, facts over feelings. It wasn't on the team last season. They could have healed and also grew. So DeRozan, it could have been better. Not a championship, but first, second round. Look, I mean, I agree. What could have been. Problem is, like, can't go back. It would have been nice, like, if we could have had DeRozan, KCP, Caruso, all those guys. I still don't think it would have saved the season last year, but I think it would have been good. LeBron can't play the three in Westbrook, none winning LeBron AD lineup. He can't be forced to guard the other team's wings anymore on the regular. I think he'll play. I think it'll be pick and choose spots. I think it'll just depend on matchup stuff like that. He wasn't terrible. LeBron wasn't terrible. I'm not saying he was terrible. I'm just saying
by all means.
He wasn't the best. The best thing for the Lakers and Russ is to trade him to the Hornets, and I don't think MJ wants to help LeBron. MJ was willing to do the Hornets trade earlier this year. The Lakers just didn't want to do it. What's going on, Elder? I appreciate you. What is going on? How are you? Shout outs to Elder and Kareem. Shout outs to Elder and Kareem. I went on their they have a show. They're another Laker channel.
Okay.
And they were kind enough when I was first getting started to bring me on their channel, which was awesome.
What's up?
What else? Sorry, I lost where I was at. LeBron's been doing this for 20 years. Agreed. Um, I'm not a Russell Westbrook hater. Yeah, I don't think you are. Look, like I said, I don't have a problem people criticizing Russ. It's just you got to put things in perspective. Not trying to be a Russ hate, but his touch around the rim is the best. That's one of the things that does drive me crazy about Russ. He doesn't have good control when he gets up there. That's why he misses so many.
Yeah.
He's so aggressive when he gets to the rim
Yeah.
that's what causes a lot of his miss. But
it's like he's going like 110. He doesn't
Yeah.
slow down and like get the bucket sometimes. Like he can get to the rim. The problem is not getting to the rim. The
It's
problem
control.
is finishing and converting. And the reason Kyrie Irving compared to like, I guess I don't want to necessarily make comparisons here, but the reason like a Kyrie Irving is so good is because Kyrie Irving will see the defense, pick it apart, get to the rim, but then finish even off of some crazy contact.
yeah, it's better.
And that
control.
right there, that is easy. Actually, that's very hard. That's harder said than done. Like
a great example.
I don't think we're gonna see another Kyrie for a very long time. Like,
oh yeah,
Kyrie's a special
he's a
type of, yeah.
But like, fun fact for everyone, I'll ask you: do you know this? Russell Westbrook led the league last year in missed layups, which isn't good. Terrible stat.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to lead the league in missed layups. But
yeah,
do you know who number 2 was?
Number 2?
Yeah, who was second behind Russell Westbrook?
I wouldn't know. No.
Take a guess.
Kyrie.
No. One more guess.
LeBron.
No, it's not somebody on the Lakers. It's somebody on another team. A team that you hate as Laker fans.
You said missed layups?
Yeah, missed layups.
Paul George or Kawhi Leonard?
No, it was Jason Tatum.
Oh, Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum. As great as Jason Tatum is, as much as everyone loves Jason Tatum. Look, I'm a diehard Laker fan, but I love Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum's nice, and he's a future
really
Laker.
You like him?
Oh, I love Jason Tatum. I'm speaking it into existence. He's a future Laker, but I actually think Jaylen Brown has a better chance of being a future Laker than Tatum does. But we'll save that for another day.
I think I like Jaylen Brown's play style more. Yeah. I mean, I like Tatum. Tatum's cool.
He's more of a dog than Tatum is. But Tatum's just such an incredible talent, man. That dude is incredible. But
like they were nervous last year for sure.
He was number 2 in the league in missed layups. So players miss layups, even good players. Since LeBron is slow, should we trade up? No, we don't trade LeBron. LeBron's still great. Again, not overreacting.
Speaking of a LeBron trade, I got a interesting proposition for you. Yeah, do you think LeBron is not untouchable when it comes to, let's say we could, I don't think we will, because we're not going to be that bad.
We couldn't trade him this year even if we wanted to.
No, I know not this year, but I'm saying when Victor comes into the picture, do you think LeBron's untouchable? Depending on when he comes. Okay, let's say, whenever Victor gets to the league, would you say
no team would trade LeBron for Victor? Now, maybe somebody else like would I trade LeBron for DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine? No, I wouldn't. Something like that.
It'll be very hard to make up a trade that would.
Yeah. And this is why I said LeBron's never going to get traded by the Lakers, even if he wanted to be traded, because the problem is that nobody's going to trade assets that are valuable for 38-year-old LeBron James, as great as he is, because you don't know how long you're going to have him at that elite level. Now, would a team? I mean, even young assets, like the only way I would trade LeBron is if if we could get say Jaylen Brown. I would trade Jaylen Brown for LeBron James. And it's not because I think Jaylen Brown is anywhere close to LeBron James.
Like today? You would trade him today?
Yeah, today. As bad as we are right now. Yes. But here's the reason. The reason is because we have Jaylen Brown for the next 10 years that we could build around, where LeBron James at best we probably have for 2. So it'd be a long-term play. And we'd get more than Jaylen Brown. So let's say we got Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and a couple a first round or 2 first rounds. I would do that deal.
You wouldn't want to try to squeeze a chip out of LeBron right now, because Jaylen Brown this team still needs time to develop. He's young.
This team right now, the way that we're structured, unless something changes, we're not a contender. We're not going to win a championship. So if it could be a win-win to where he could go to a
so you don't think it's possible at all? Not even.
I don't. I don't ever say it's impossible. You never know. I mean,
No,
maybe
I know.
guys
Yeah.
start clicking, you get into the playoffs, you still got LeBron. Like, like I said, I've said it. Like, if we get to the Western Conference Finals, I wouldn't be shocked if we're in the NBA Finals. Because I think if we get to the Western Conference Finals, I think LeBron James is going to look at this as like, this might be my last chance. I need to win 8 games. And I think we would see a completely different LeBron James. But from just like a LeBron fan standpoint, no, I wouldn't want to trade him. But from like remove my bias, what would be best for the organization long term going forward, I would do that deal. LeBron gets to go to a team that he'd be a legit contender on and maybe win a championship. We get to rebuild around Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown. I would do that. I would. It would be tough. I don't think the Lakers would do it, but I don't like if the Lakers did do it, I wouldn't be rioting. I wouldn't be like, what are they doing? Like, and at that point, I would trade Anthony Davis. I would trade everybody. I'd blow it up. Trade Anthony Davis. Go get some young guys. Build around those young guys.
Speed round. Let me speed round really quick. Who you would trade for LeBron? Steph.
Would I trade Steph for LeBron? Yes.
No, I'm saying like, would you trade for Steph? Yeah.
Yeah, like would I trade for Steph?
Yeah.
Probably yes. Because I think you still got probably another 5 to 7 years with Steph because he's such a great shooter. So yeah, I'd probably take Steph. Absolutely.
Kyrie.
No.
Trae Young.
No.
Luka.
Yes.
Kevin Durant.
No.
Okay. Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
So youth will outweigh. I guess youth will outweigh. I guess in long term.
It can't just be any young. So like, I don't think I like Trae Young, but I think if he's your best player on a championship team, you're probably not winning a championship. So
not right now, not until he gets better though.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade him for a young guy just to trade him for a young guy. Like I would have it would have to be the right young guy. If it ever were to happen. I mean, obviously these are all just fun.
So you see great things in Jaylen Brown, and you must see like really like.
I think he's a dog. I think he's a number one. I think he's a number one playing a number two. You think
he's better than Jimmy?
Jimmy Butler, yes, he's better than Jimmy
Butler. I agree.
Yeah. So you also don't care if Russ will be toxic in the locker room if he comes off the bench. I don't know if he would be. He said he'd be willing to come off the bench. That's not up for me to decide. That's up for Darvin Ham. Perez, you don't care what he says. I don't care what he says. I care about what is his production? What does he look like? If he's having locker room issues, then that's something we'll talk about. But he hasn't, and he's not. So why would I just assume he's having locker room issues? I would like the Lakers so much more if it wasn't for their fans. And I'm talking the broad sexuals and Laker bandwagons, the real fans I respect, because good Lord, Lakers have had some tough times. Absolutely. Lakers have had some rough time.
Absolutely.
Sixers and Nets both are projected to go to the finals and lost huge on opening night. Agreed. I hope the Nets just keep imploding. I just hope that they keep losing. Kevin Durant's like, I want out, and they end up blowing this kickstand up. But didn't you notice that the referees hate Patrick Beverley? Of course they do. Patrick Beverley talks a lot. I kind of don't understand how Westbrook plays hard and takes no possessions off when he doesn't, and especially can't play defense like that. Hey, he played solid. His defensive rating was great the other day or yesterday. So yeah, he's not going to be a ball stopping defender. He's going to be
but his effort's there.
But
that's kind of all you can ask for.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I like the effort. Come on, man. You would definitely trade LeBron. You would definitely trade LeBron for the right package right now. I agree. I would trade LeBron for the right package right now. Like I said, if we could get like the right package, I would trade LeBron. Problem is, I don't think teams would trade for LeBron at this age unless they really believe like we're a LeBron James away from a championship. I don't think they do it. Like the Cavs, I don't think they would trade for LeBron.
No.
And that's the problem.
I don't think Miami would either.
I think Miami would. Pat Riley would love to have LeBron back, but yeah, I don't know if I would. Yeah, I don't think there's anything on them. Like even I wouldn't trade Tyler Hero for LeBron. I do agree. If the right package is there, I would trade LeBron tomorrow. The problem is we can't trade LeBron this year. because of when he signed his contract. I don't think any team should be stupid enough to trade for LeBron. I agree. I just joined in. Hope no one is whining about the Lakers. If you are, check. Good night. Check tonight's game scores. Yes, agreed. Suns getting blown out. I'm telling you, the Phoenix Suns are going to implode. The Phoenix Suns. I really do. I think the Phoenix,
here,
dude. I said it.
I
I've said it from day one. I got killed for it. I'm telling you. Look, it's one game. Again, don't want to blow it out of proportion.
Yeah.
But the Phoenix Suns have a bunch of guys that do not want to be there. All of the drama that went on with the owner, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be a bad.
Did you think they were going to win that championship? Like, honestly, what was your best bet that they would win that?
When they got to the finals?
I didn't see them coming out.
No, I actually bet on Milwaukee to win. I thought Milwaukee was going to smack them. I just didn't think they matched up well against Milwaukee. No. Kyrie 0 for 6 from 3. Yeah, I keep being terrible. I need it. Random trivia. What was your favorite Lakers moment from 2000 to present? Favorite Lakers moment? Ooh, that's tough to categorize, especially on the spot. Something I'd really have to because it's one of those things that the rest of this stream I'm going to be thinking of other things. But first thing that comes to mind, probably Kobe's first championship without Shaq. Like when he got Powell and they won the first championship.
Yeah.
That is probably up there. And then beating the Celtics, probably the other one. But probably Kobe getting his first championship. Not first championship in general, but first one without Shaq.
That's a good one. Overall, yeah, I would agree. But I love that team because you had Trevor Ariza, you had Paul Gasol, you had Fisher. I believe, because you had Fisher. So I don't know. I really, you had Brown. I missed that team because the team, you took a whole bunch of average guys, and I'm not calling Derek Fisher average by any means, but I don't think he's the same player if he's not playing with Kobe. You know what I mean? Yeah. One of the best to ever do it. So you take a whole bunch of Trevor Arizas, Brown, you take all these players and you had an average team, but he kind of just willed them to the championship. And then you saw little moments and Kobe ripping his jersey and he was like, yeah, we won. That whole yeah. Man, gives me chills just thinking about it. I got goosebumps.
like I said, there's always it's one of those questions that I'm sure I would think it's gonna be one of those things all night, Rich. Thanks, Rich. All night tonight, I'm gonna be thinking of things. I'm like, no, that one's better. No, that one's better. Thanks, Rich. Keen Suns manhandled at home. Yes. The Nets too. The Nets got manhandled at home. Who else do we? Miami.
Well, I expected the Kings.
I still think Cleveland blew that game. Cleveland should have won that game. Memphis almost blew tonight, which was crazy too. Memphis was smacking it, and then
do you like Ja? Just really quick, do you like Ja?
I like Ja, but I don't think he's the best player on a championship team. I love Ja. I think he's a little overhyped. Just a tad. I agree. People act like he's the next big thing. I personally, and maybe he makes me eat my words one day, and I would love it if he did. But I think if Ja is your best player, you're not winning a championship. I just don't think they're going to be able to win a championship.
I still don't think last year, if Ja doesn't get injured in that series, I still don't think they come out on top.
I don't either. I've said the same thing. I've said I still think they lose. Miami would certainly trade for Brown. Absolutely, I think they would immediately. Yeah, he got spanked too.
I thought
I said it before the season. Miami and the Phoenix Suns, I don't think are going to be very good this year. I don't think they missed the playoffs or anything, but I don't think they're going to be very good. What were you going to say? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I thought him and Pat don't have the best relationship.
No, he's loved him. Pat Riley, a couple
or
years ago,
they just had it back and forth, maybe.
No, Pat Riley was just pissed that LeBron just basically abandoned him. But yeah. Pat Riley said 2 years ago or something that the keys are under the mat for LeBron whenever he wants to come back. Something along those lines. When do you think Seattle will get the team back? Expansion will be relocation. I need a team back now. So supposedly, it's not confirmed yet, but word is by like 2025, maybe 2026, we might start seeing some expansions. Obviously, it'll take a couple years to actually like stadium and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
we're supposed to be getting a Vegas and Seattle team soon. That's why LeBron's been talking so much about the Vegas thing. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, can't wait.
Keens of the preseason. Exactly. Keens of the preseason. Which I always think is funny. Everyone talks about how badly we lost to the Keens and all that stuff. And I said, Keens have gone undefeated in preseason 2 straight years. They win Summer League every year. The teams that have the younger players usually do well in preseason Summer League because they're playing harder. They're wet behind the ears. I'm always going to remember Big Shot Rob and that shot. Yes, to put Queens away. Fisher's .04. Yes, was amazing. You know what's great is Fisher proved that before Fisher made that shot, it was impossible. I don't know if you remember, but the announcer said that it was impossible to make a shot in that moment, and Fisher made it. I love.
I remember that.
Yeah, and to this day they've changed it to where .4 is just enough time to get a shot off. But they're
Shannon Brown's still, sorry. Shannon Brown's still in that same exact series too. Sorry. I remember that.
Yeah, before that, you the word was you could only do that on a lob, like a tip in. Like you had to throw it towards the rim and a guy had to tip it in. But yeah, turns out that wasn't the case. I like Ja, but he needs to play ball. Agreed. They chanted his name all the way to the parking lot surrounding Staples Center's LA Live. Wasn't there yet. Yeah. I bet it would have been a sight to see. Yeah, because Gary said he was there. That would have been quite the sight to see. NBA waiting for LeBron to retire so he can get a Vegas team. I think so too. I really do. Like that's kind of like one of those like put your tinfoil hat on conspiracies, but I actually agree. I think that's what they're waiting for too. That Rich is indestructible. Nothing really comes close to that feeling, honestly. Oh, I'm sure. Derek Fisher, .04 shot was a great moment too. Yeah, agree. But anyway, we caught up to the end of the chat. Any parting words before we skate on out of here? You got anything left, Jake?
Keep the faith. Keep the faith. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Haven't even played 5 games. Haven't even played 10 games. Like I said, just let this historically great dynasty team organization do what they know how to do best, which is eventually get back to a championship. So I'm looking forward to the Clippers. And this season's exciting. We got some tough matchups. We got some easy matchups as well. So
history says we win one every decade. So we got to win.
And for the people who said that the Lakers were very sleepy in the preseason, you saw the intensity change. So it was just preseason.
Agreed. Beat the Clippers. Facts. But anyway, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. I really appreciate it. We actually had a really good stream today. I enjoyed this conversation. I'm going to get a video up on the Miles Turner news coming up. So check out all that stuff. What time is it? I might try to do a late night live stream. If not, then definitely I'll have a live stream tomorrow post game as always. So I hope to see you all there. We'll be back here on Friday. So make sure you check us out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss that. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, all of that stuff. You guys